What's up, guys? It is a cold November day, putting the boat away for the winter. I figured I would go ahead and put on my new Ultrex. So the first question is probably going to be why an Ultrex? Out here on Erie, I'm going to tell you right now, a standard trolling motor and not having the ability to spot lock is not convenient. It doesn't really allow you to focus on fishing. It forces you to focus on boat position and trolling and controlling the boat. And I want to get away from that. So because of that, I'm switching to a trolling motor that has spot lock because I want the ability to focus on fishing when I'm on tall water or taller water, water where there's current. Just really want to unlock capabilities of what I can do fishing. And this is the next piece of the puzzle that's going to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and get started on the install. I've already mounted the bracket here. I did that. It's kind of a pain. It's very hard to video at the same time. So I went ahead and mounted it. I took my old, I had a Minn Kota Maxxum 70 on here. This is a 112, so I'm gonna have to upgrade batteries. So we're gonna work on that as well. Probably later on this winter, we'll end up upgrading the battery. We'll go to a 36 volt system instead of 24 volt. But I wanted to get this done, or at least started, before I put the boat away for the winter. That way it's not laying in my garage. It came a couple days ago, so I wanted to get that handled and taken care of. Bracket is already mounted. I put the strap into the middle. The existing mounting holes work perfectly. So if you do have a Maxxum 70, this will just switch right over. So it worked out really well. I used, FYI, if you have skinny arms, great. If you don't, this is gonna suck. Because this is the hole you have to work with here. As you can see, it's really tiny. I've scratched my arm up. I have fiberglass in my arm right now. It's itching like crazy, so I'm gonna take a shower here shortly to finish this install. But it's gonna be a little labor intensive. It's gonna suck a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and get this done because the end result is going to dramatically increase our ability to focus on our fish and our fishing versus focusing on our struggles with the boat sometimes. So let's go ahead and keep going. I've got the motor sitting up here. There is a bolt right here that you're gonna have to take out to mount the motor to the bracket. It is a 1/4 inch Allen wrench. So you take this off. This also has a support lift on here. We're gonna do that last. So take that hardware off. Tells you right here basically what you're gonna have to do once you want this done, okay? So we'll cover that here in a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and put this motor up here. All right, so rather than try to do this laying down, we took the trolling motor and we took the bracket and mounted it all the way down so that we could get this. There's two nubs. There's a set of nubs here and there's a set of nubs here. The trolling motor slides on there, and then this little cutout fits inside here, so you can put this bolt back in. That's what holds your trolling motor on. So you've got two nubs on each side. It's two slots, if you will, 4 nubs. Works out really well, but you're gonna wanna lay this back down and do this way. I've seen people take the whole assembly and try to mount it on the boat. I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't imagine trying to take this assembly with the motor on it and wrestle it onto the boat. You are way better off doing it bracket first on the boat, then mount the motor to it, than trying to manage this whole thing while you're trying to deal with bolts and nuts and everything, screws. So mount the bracket first, that's my advice, then go ahead and mount the motor. We've got the trolling motor mounted, we've got it adjusted for height. We've got the lift support already put in here. We're not gonna put the prop nut on, or prop on. I've got a prop nut coming from TH Marine, so we'll leave that alone. We're gonna go ahead and install the pedal. I do have to go and grab a plug. This comes with 2 little eyelet terminals. I'm gonna have to go grab this plug. Another word of advice, make sure you put anti-seize on the nuts for the mount. They are stainless, they will gall the threads, and you will have to break them off when you take this motor off in the future, if you take it off or if you have any problems with it. So I threw some anti-seize on the nuts before I put them on, wore some gloves, got that all done. We're gonna go ahead and finish everything up here, mount this pedal. I'll probably get my transducer mounted, even though this one does have built-in 2D sonar. My down imaging and 2D sonar transducers right there. I'm gonna go ahead and get that mounted up here in a little bit, but we will go through the electronic setup, if you will, tying it to the Humminbird, tying it to everything else, setting up the controller, doing everything once we get it out on the water. We'll probably link everything up to the Minn Kota through the iLink before we go out there, so I'll have a video on that. But for the, this video is just a basic walkthrough of the install of the trolling motor structurally onto the boat. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount the pedal. I will go ahead and go to Bass Pro Shops and get a connector. But for the most part, this is just about, obviously the boat's a mess, I apologize, cleaning all this stuff out. So I took the foot pedal area, cleaned everything out, drilled new holes for the pedal because my pedal holes didn't line up. I was gonna go get a new Minn Kota connector, but my factory pedal came with one on it. So what I did was take the connector off just to see if these ring terminals would work, and they did. However, what I had to do is take the ring terminals, these little slider pins, all the way out, ran the screw all the way out, put everything back together. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the backing piece back on, and then I'm going to put the back on and put it back together. All right, so it is 5 o'clock. It's already dark. It's kind of ridiculous, but got the pedal mounted. Had to drill a couple holes. The pattern didn't quite line up perfectly, so just kind of made it work, did what we had to do there. Everything's cleaned up. I'm gonna finish the install tomorrow, putting everything back together, getting all this on here. This is all finished up now. I got my Humminbird graph, back mounted up front, pedals mounted, everything's plugged in. We've got the heading sensor mounted. Got the TH Marine prop nut set up on here. Everything's done. The install really wasn't that bad. So let me come up here real quick. All right, so what we did on this is you actually take this rod right here, flip it upside down, mark it about 3/4 of an inch above this flange, maybe an inch, cut it off, thread this all the way down, and then set it up. You're supposed to set it up to where it just barely touches the carpet, as you can see there. Have a little bit of play. I'll probably mess with it a little bit once we get on the water, see how it responds, going through some chops, stuff like that. But I mean, it's pretty solid. It's not really going anywhere. Powered it up already. We've got power up here on 24 volts. But we are gonna switch it over to a 36 volt system. So I'll go through that whole process of battery selection, maximizing space in the back of the boat, what batteries to select, why we selected them. We're gonna go through all that here shortly. But overall, this install right here, since I had an existing Minn Kota trolling motor, wasn't that bad. Had I had to drill the holes and put it on there, I still don't think it would have been terrible. You just use a Sharpie, come through here, mark the holes out with a Sharpie, and go to work. I think it'd be all right. But having those existing holes already done from the factory was definitely a plus. So all the cables are routed. I do have a TH Marine sleeve that I'm gonna pick up. One thing I am gonna do is buy a different trolling motor bracket to mount this on, or not a trolling motor, a fish finder bracket. We're gonna mount it here so I can loop the cable underneath the fish finder instead of it being here in front of it. Just don't want to risk having anything get broken or damaged. So we're going to take this, loop it through. My fish finder will probably be mounted somewhere in this area right here, above this footwell area. So we'll go through that process of getting that done as well over the winter. But some little changes, nothing too crazy. But overall, really happy, really pleased with this. Now we just got to go out and get on the water and get testing. Not only is it a way stronger, going from an 80 to a 112, we are also going to a 36 volt system, and we will now have spot lock on this, which is going to be huge. People don't realize how nice it is till you don't have it. I've never fished with it until recently and realized how effective it was at being able to maximize what you're doing, fishing and presentations and everything, and maximizing time on spots when you're scouting them. When you identify areas or rock piles or any waypoints you have, being able to isolate those and go after them is huge. So, really, really excited, really jacked. Like I said, it's about time to go back to work. So we covered, why we would put an Ultrex on the boat. Pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, just looking for an increase in my ability to focus on fishing versus boat control. The Ultrex does that. I also changed to a 36-volt system. I get a little bit more power, get a little bit more time for my graphs, for trolling. Can switch over to, you know, some different batteries. So all in all, it's a win-win. We're upgrading the trolling motor. We're going to upgrade the battery system. We're going to upgrade a lot of different things. And like I said, just having that spot lock capability really is going to allow us to do some very important things this coming season when you're fishing for smallmouth on Lake Erie, when you're fishing a little bit taller water, stronger current. We deal with all these different items on Erie, so it's a nice thing to have, to be able to press a button, be able to allow the front of the boat, allow the boat to stay pointed in a direction, stay oriented towards a group of fish. The ability to set up tracks in the Minn Kota, since it all talks together, and allow the boat to just do its thing and move from waypoint to waypoint. Another really good feature. We'll see how it works if I use it a ton, but I know spot lock is for sure going to be used. Whether it's just, you know, taking a fish and putting it in the live well and culling a fish out, that time takes the boat and can sometimes cause us to drift, even almost drifting into obstacles, docks, rocks, shoreline areas. We get really close to some spots sometimes. So riding some really skinny water, being able to have that ability to lock the boat in is really nice. So the goal for 2020 is to take our fishing to the next level. Really show you guys what it's like to fish some BFLs as a boater. We're going to fish the Great Lakes Largemouth Series. We're going to fish, if we're lucky, and if things go right, maybe a BASS Open. Handful of different circuits we're going to fish next year, and this is just one step to get us prepared for that. So stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to let you know when we upload another video. Probably going to try to keep these going weekly. We're going to have a Shimano SLX video. We're going to do some spool speed bearings and some different reels, a favorite rod review, a lot of different content coming the way. So if you have any questions or want to see any, content that's different than what we've been doing, or there's anything specific that you want me to show you, please comment below. I'll go ahead and get that done probably within the next couple weeks, and we'll just keep content flowing together. So tight lines, have a great day. See you guys next time.